The news comes as a shock to the residents of the little town, Chester, in England. A person that is hired to take care of the most defenseless people has been arrested for suspicion of a string of murders and attempted murder. How is it possible that the worst child killer in England could do it in a hospital? The Countess of Chester Hospital, southern of the town Liverpool, is in the beginning of summer of 2016 in a big crisis. The last year has been the worst in history for the hospital because it's been like an epidemic of death on the neonatal ward where babies that are born premature and are in need of special care are staying. More babies than ever have died in the hospital, has a 10% higher death rate than average, so it doesn't look good at all. Everything started the year before, on June 8, 2015. A pair of twins, a boy and a girl, are born weeks early, so they have to stay at the neonatal ward. The boy is stable. He breathes on his own, and before the daytime staff leaves their shift, they speak to the night nurses and give them all the information they need about the boy. Shortly after the night staff starts working, the boy's levels drop drastically. The nurses alarm the doctors that come urgently, and they notice that the boy's skin has a weird tone. He's very pale and has like a spider web kind of purple and red marks on his body. The doctors try to save this boy, but they can't, and the boy dies tragically. The parents are of course crushed and shocked because of this, and next to their baby boy lies his twin sister. She's stable and the parents stay close to her at all times. They just want their daughter to be okay and to survive. They want it so bad that they haven't slept or eaten anything. The next night, when the night nurses come in, the nurse tells the parents that she can take care of the girl and that they can go and eat something. So they leave the room to go grab something to eat, but just minutes later, they hear an alarm go off. The girl's blood oxygen has started to drop, and her mask that should help her breathe doesn't sit properly. And less than 30 minutes later, the girl's heart stops. Fortunately, the doctors managed to save her, and she's okay, but they noticed the same purple and red pattern on her body. 1 week later, on the 14th of June, a premature baby collapses, and a few days later, on June 22nd, another baby dies. The purple-red pattern is seen on them too. This cannot just be a case of bad luck. What are the odds that so many babies die? So they actually get an examination of the neonatal ward to see what can link these three deaths, and they see that it's the same nurse that's been present every time. But the ward director says it can't be the blonde, really nice nurse that has anything to do with this. So she continues working on neonatal. The 4th of August, another baby collapses. 2 twin boys are born 10 weeks early, and one of them has their levels dropping, and the nice blonde nurse tells the panicked parents to be calm and that it's okay, that they can trust her. She's a nurse, and that the doctors are coming to help the boy. The boy doesn't survive, and the next day his twin brother collapses. The brother survives but will have learning disabilities later on, and his blood samples show later that he has extreme levels of insulin in his blood. A month later, a girl collapses. She survives, but she gets blind and cerebral palsy, forcing her to need constant help for the rest of her life. After another little girl dies on the 23rd of October 2015, the doctors are getting desperate and say that even on that occasion, the blonde nurse was there. They don't understand how no one sees that it's a connection. But the management can't seem to see that Lucy Letby has anything to do with it. Lucy Letby is born on January 4th, 1990 in Hereford, outside of Birmingham, and is the only child. She had a normal childhood, and already from a young age she wanted to be a nurse. So after she finishes school, she moves 2 hours away and starts at University of Chester outside of Liverpool. She was going to be a nurse. Lucy is described as a shy and careful person that lets loose when she feels comfortable and gets to know you. She likes to hang out with friends, dance, and party. She's nice, and you always have fun with her. In January 2012, at the age of 22, she starts to work in the Countess of Chester's hospital. She works hard, she's intelligent, her colleagues like her, and she's kind and speaks nice to her patients. In 2015, Lucy is 25 years old. She has qualified to work with the most exposed and sick people in the whole hospital. She's gonna work in the neonatal ward, where the premature babies go. And from there on, babies start dying. More and more babies die, with weird patterns on their skin, and they go from completely stable to really bad in minutes. Lucy is so sad because of this, that the babies she takes care of don't survive. She seeks comfort in her friends and colleagues. She texts her friends and says that she doesn't understand how some babies die and some don't. Maybe it has to do with fate. She gets a lot of sympathy from her nurse colleagues, but not from the doctors. She notices that some doctors start looking weirdly at her. At the ward, they start talking about that it's so weird that she's always been there when the babies died. So when the controls start at the ward, Lucy doesn't get it. And of course, she has all the nurses backing her up, that she didn't do anything, so she's fine. In October, after the 5th baby dies, the doctors go to their boss to talk about Lucy, but they're stopped because the ward director says that Lucy is completely innocent. Between April and May 2016, 3 babies collapse and 2 of them are twins. One of the twins have extreme amounts of insulin in the blood, and the other one gets brain damage due to oxygen deficiency. Now Lucy is moved from the night shift to working daytime, and the babies keep dying. In June 2016, triplets are born and 2 of them die short time after, although they were stable. Now Lucy is moved completely out of the ward and is moved to doing paperwork. 2 investigations start at this time to see what's going on, and the really strange thing is that not one baby dies after Lucy's been moved from the ward. Why didn't they do anything sooner? And the really strange thing is that given that not one baby died after Lucy disappeared from the ward, Lucy was free to come back to the ward. The first investigation shows that Lucy had nothing to do with the deaths. But before she comes back to the ward director asks the doctors that have complained to apologize to her because they have bullied her and spread false accusations. They will have consequences for their actions if they don't go to mediation calls with Lucy. Oh Lord. But this never takes place because the other investigation is done, and that's an investigation that's been done by an external party that has nothing to do with the hospital. This investigation shows that the deaths has not happened naturally, and now the police is involved, and they start an investigation that will be one of the biggest ones in England's history. One thing that the police investigation shows is that the babies have been injected with air in their blood. This is shown in the x-rays taken of the babies before and after they collapsed. They have gas in their stomach and heart, and that's not normal. When you get air in the bloodstream, the blood can't flow as easily and can't go to the heart, which in turn leads to oxygen deficiency. The purple-red pattern on the babies can show that the babies had an air in the bloodstream. The doctors said afterwards that they should have discovered this sooner, and then they would have been able to stop it by bursting these bubbles of air. The high insulin levels also show that someone who has access to insulin has given it to the babies. Lucy is arrested in her home on the 3rd of July 2018 and is suspected of murdering 8 babies and later for attempted murder on 10 other babies. She denies having anything to do with this and that she's been very worried for the babies and tried everything to save them. But the police do a search through her house and they found hospital documents and also her journal where Lucy's written about the murders, that she did it, she's horrible and evil, and that she did it because she's not good enough to take care of them. She actually has searched for the parents on Instagram and Facebook after she killed their babies, but she told the police she didn't know why she did that. She also sent cards to them after the funerals, but she says she only did it because she cared. Lucy says it's the hospital's fault that this happened, and no surveillance footage actually shows Lucy doing anything. No one has seen her doing anything, and her defense lawyers say that the evidence are just guessing. The trial starts in October of 2022, and the jury finds her guilty for 7 murders and attempted murder on 6 other babies.
Craft to inflict harm, grief and death. Justice has been served, and a nurse who should have been caring for our babies has been found guilty of harming them.
She gets life in prison, and the judge says that Lucy is a really evil person. Many experts think that she would continue if she could, but her friends say she couldn't have done this. What's wrong with this person, you think? Why did she do this? Feel free to comment below, and also like and subscribe to our channel for more interesting, disturbing true crime videos like this.